Welcome back. I'm Kevin O'Keefe. At issue today, teenagers making media their way. Spartan Youth Radio is Canada's only high school podcast radio station. Located in a town of 5,000, the Espanola, Ontario station is run by volunteers and students. But that doesn't mean they don't get some big names. Here's a clip of a recent interview with Canadian author Margaret Atwood.
Hello, book lovers. My name is Madeleine Lumiere on the Spartan Youth Radio Network, the only high school podcast radio station in the country. Though we normally broadcast from Espanola, we are currently here in Sudbury with author, Queen of Words, perhaps one of the greatest known authoresses in Canada, Margaret Atwood. Hello, Margaret.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Before we start, you celebrated your birthday this week. I understand that you recently turned 70 on the 18th, and to commemorate that, we actually have a gift for you today.
Oh, thank you.
And to do with the theme of recycling and environmental issues that you've been writing so much about, that bow has been recycled, I believe, 5 times, and the paper has been used 3.
Well, that's very good. I will save them up and use them again. Yes. Isn't that lovely? Spartan Youth Radio. Now, why did you call yourself Spartan Youth Radio?
As a matter of fact, the Spartan is actually our school mascot, and we are a radio for the youth. Our slogan is actually all kinds of different.
Look at this. This is wonderful. It's a word of the day 2010 desk calendar. That will be very interesting to see what they are. And here's the second thing, and it is Our Story, Aboriginal Voices on Canada's Past. And the forward is by my pal Adrian Clarkson, who lives just down the street from me. Wonderful. And here we have very, very popular. Wow, not everybody gets this. This is the Spartan Youth Radio.com t-shirt. And it has a hand holding either a very strange Martian organ or a microphone.
No, you can call it a Martian organ if you prefer.
And Skyping me from Espanola is Madeleine Lumiere. Welcome to the show, Madeleine.
Hi.
Tell me how you got an interview with Margaret Atwood.
Well, the same method that we get all of our interviews. We heard that she was going to be in the area. The university here, Laurentian, does a celebration every year for her birthday, and she had just come out with her new book, The Year of the Flood, and we thought it would be a good idea to try and contact her to see if she would be willing to do a phone interview. And she was more than willing, actually, and she decided to let us meet her in Laurentian, so we ended up doing that. I believe it was November 18th.
And some people would say that, well, you're just a student radio station. You're too scared to contact a big, famous person like Margaret Atwood. Did that cross your mind?
No. What's the worst-case scenario, really, that she would say no or we wouldn't get a response?
Right. Now, you mentioned it was around her birthday. Who came up with the idea of giving her a present?
Oh, that was actually our station producer, Mr. Stewart.
And how did that go over when you met her and gave her the present? What was her response?
She seemed actually quite happy about it. I don't think she really expected it, so it was kind of a nice surprise.
And how did you feel during the interview? Were you nervous?
Oh, I was very nervous in the beginning, to be honest. I'm sure you can tell that if you listen to the clip. But she actually was very nice and quite patient with any question that I came to ask her, so it went quite well, and by the end I was enjoying myself immensely.
Now, she says a few controversial things we didn't hear in the clip, but you talked about the moon landing. What did you have to say about that?
Oh, just in her own personal opinion, she feels that the moon landing was more than likely a hoax.
And that's gotten you a little bit of press, I understand.
Yes, actually. We were contacted just today by the National Post. I spoke on the phone, and we've been blogged about by the newspaper, and I believe we'll be mentioned in an article that's going to be in print.
How does that feel?
It's quite shocking, actually. You know, I began this a few years ago, and it's kind of hard to believe that from where we started to, just struggling to get any quote-unquote big names, and now we're being contacted. I mean, you talked to us. We've been contacted by CBC before, and now such a large newspaper. It's shocking.
Now tell me a bit about why you first got involved in Spartan Youth Radio.
I got involved in grade 9 because when you get to high school, that's what they tell you. It's supposed to be some fun years of your life, and I thought it would be a very interesting club. I didn't know very much about computers, but I was interested in media and culture in general, so I thought that I would enjoy it, and I have. I've learned a lot.
What appeals to you about journalism?
Just the idea that you can be there yourself asking the questions that most people want to be and getting the, quote unquote facts that, on most issues. It's an interesting line of work, really.
Is it difficult being taken seriously at a high school radio station?
It has been in the past, but I actually find that the larger we seem to grow, the more serious we're taken, actually. And really, I try not to think about it when I go into an interview. So,
give me a sense of how you go about trying to get your guests. Do you have to send out? I heard from Patrick that you send out lots of emails, and you're used to sort of rejection coming in. People don't want to talk.
Oh, not even rejection.
You don't consider it rejection.
No, we don't get rejections. They just forget to email us back, of course.
So what keeps you going when you never hear back? Why do you keep sending out emails?
Well, maybe for every 100 we send out that don't come back, we get the one that we do get. I mean, we've interviewed a lot of, meaningful names. We've gotten Jack Layton, we've had Margaret Atwood, we've done Les Stroud, we've done Billy Talent. I mean, with things like that and such positive responses, and we seem to grow, and it becomes easier to get those names that we really want each time.
And you come from Espanola, which I'm having trouble pronouncing.
That's all right.
Tell me, what are the challenges coming from a small town working at a radio station?
Well, it's just hard, like you said, initially to be taken seriously. I mean, people hear that we're up in this northern little town that has such a small population. I mean, there are high schools, that have a larger population than we do in this town. So, it is hard to be taken seriously. Most people's opinion is that, we're almost an uneducated lot who shouldn't have an opinion on much.
And in fact, you're the only high school podcast station in Canada, so clearly your technology is quite sophisticated. How does that work exactly? How can someone listen to your station?
Well, it's run through podcast. You can either go to the site or you can make an account online on iTunes, and you can just browse and download for free whatever you want. It goes into either a WAV or an MP3 file, and most people prefer to put it on their iPods, or some people save it to their personal computers, and you can listen to it at any time you feel.
How has technology, in a sense, I guess, made things easier for you? Because there was a time where, not that long ago, podcasts didn't exist, and you had to have... I mean, I keep saying you work at the station. You're even a volunteer, correct? You're not paid.
No, we do this because we love to.
So how has the technology, I guess, been able to make it for you to be able to reach people?
Well, quite honestly, it would be impossible without the technology. I mean, especially in the beginning, Margaret Atwood was actually one of the first big interviews we did where it was face-to-face. Before, it was primarily through phone calls and the use of our recorders. So without it, we would surely not be doing what we do. And even then, we use a hosting site called Ning, and it's through Ning that we are so easily able to upload the material that we get. So really, it's on every single level, and it definitely wouldn't be possible without this.
Madeleine, if someone wants to listen to your station, how do they go about doing that?
Well, for the most part, most people just go on to the site itself at SpartanYouthRadio.com, and you can just browse through our, site itself, and our shows are very easy to find. They're organized into various categories, and our front page always has the newest shows and our top rated, and one can just click on them and listen to it right onto their computer. They don't even need to download it.
And how do you decide what stories you're going to do?
No.
Do you pitch them or you assign them?
We get both, actually. We give the people who work in Spartan Youth Radio actually quite a bit of freedom. If you have an idea, then come forth with it, and if we think that it's at all possible, then we're going to attempt it. And also, we're a very creative bunch ourselves, so we're constantly trying to think of new show ideas or new people to talk to or new issues to cover, and we tend to do it as long as we're allowed to.
Do you have any other big scoops coming up or big leads you can tell us about?
Yes, actually. We'll be doing an interview with a few scientists down in Antarctica soon, because it was a running joke actually at our station that we were listened to on every continent except really the center of Africa and, Antarctica. So we sent out some emails, and sure enough, we got a response. So we'll be doing that, and we'll also be interviewing soon. We don't have a concrete date yet, but Chris Hadfield, the first Canadian to be heading the space station.
Amazing. So what advice would you give to somebody who might be listening right now in high school who wants to do something like this?
Do it. You can't sit around and think about it. You have to really look into it. And most people Most people have a voice that wants to be heard and an idea that they want to get out there, but they're just too afraid, and they'll come up with 1,000 excuses. Oh, I'm not very good at technology. I myself am terrible with computers. But you get a good group of people together, and you can make something really work, actually. Start off with getting a recorder and then go from there.
So someone listening to this would think that, oh, you're going to go on once you graduate from high school and become an award-winning journalist. Is that what your plans are?
Oh, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. At the moment, I'm looking into university, but I am most definitely considering journalism.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Madeleine, and good luck with your interview with Chris Hadfield.
Thank you, Kevin.
Well, coming up, award-winning online high school newspaper after this.